Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast Special Edition episode. We just wrapped up the 2026 World Cup draw, in which Mexico will have a very interesting group. We're here to catch everyone's reactions in real time. It just concluded, and boy, we have a lot to unpack. We're live on Twitter Spaces. We're live on YouTube. It's a Friday morning if you're on the best coast, West Coast. Friday afternoon if you are on the East Coast. And if you are Abdias in Brazil, shout out to you, Abdias. Hope you are deep in some Brazilian coochie. Anyways, we are trying to unpack this World Cup draw, which there were parts that dragged on, very cringeworthy, giving the President of the United States a fucking peace prize. I have no words for that. And I hate that they, mix politics with football and they try to blanket everything like it's world peace and it's the world game, and we all love each other, but there's a lot of things outside of football that are pretty dirty. Guys, it's 11 a.m. I'm sipping on some Pinot Grigio. We're in a good mood. It's Friday, so I want to get everyone's reactions. Let's start with Mexico. Mexico will be opening the 2026 World Cup in El Estadio Azteca, and you gotta love football. How can you not be romantic about football? Guess who our opening country is? It's gonna be South Africa. Flashback to 2010 when we had the opening match against South Africa in their host nation, and we decided to debut ancient Conejo Perez in that match. We finished 1-1, and we will face the Republic of Korea next. And then our final team in Group A will be the European Playoff D. So we don't know who we're going to play against, but I think Denmark is in there. And, us playing against a European team was inevitable. So this is a surprise to no one. However, looking at the big picture, looking at how some of these other countries fared, I think we got off on pretty lucky. Let's be honest. I'm going to bring on some of our listeners. It looks like Alberto's ready to speak. El Más Sabio, welcome to Cantina. I think he's still connecting, but El Beeper, whenever you're ready.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Good morning here on the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, you know what? It's a favorable group. It's not bad. I mean, Korea, they depend a lot on the player from the LAFC on Son, who he's already in his mid-30s.
Yes, sir.
And then South Africa, most of their players play for a South African team. They don't have any notable guys in Europe. And then, there's a question mark to see who's going to come out of the European playoff. But,
yeah.
I mean, if they're in that playoff, then, are they really that good? I mean, Denmark has a good goalie, maybe Ireland could be the other team. But, I mean, it's the soccer gods smiled upon Mexico this morning.
I believe so. We could have had some very problematic matchups in the group stage. And, you look at some of these groups and you're like, holy shit, like they are super fucked. I'm looking at what was the killer group? Like, I think England, man. England's got a tough group. They have Croatia.
I mean, there was a team that I wanted Mexico to avoid because everybody was going to fall into complacency and say they're easy. Uzbekistan is not a world killer, but they're not that easy team. and it would have been easy to fall into a trap there.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I'm trying to figure out. So I know Macedonia versus Denmark and Ireland, and I want to say
And
it's
República Checa.
Czech Republic. Okay.
Yeah.
I think any one of the, I mean, we knew we were going to get a European team, and I think all of these are accessible. And I think the positioning of the matches is also notable, right? Because
Yeah, they close with the Euro.
we
Yeah, yeah.
close with the Euro. We have a tune-up match against South Africa and Korea. We played Korea earlier this year. Did we draw them? I forgot what the final score was.
Yeah, it was a draw because I recall they had beaten the U.S. and Mexico and all the Mexico fans
Yeah, it
that were
was
both
it was in that same tour where we played against Japan. It was a 2-2 final score. Raul Jimenez and Santi Jimenez scored for Mexico. They actually,
if you look at the history, Mexico has fared very very well against Korea. 98 3-1,
yeah,
and then 2008 2-1, and it's not gonna be in Azteca, so you don't have the altitude
yep.
to favor you, but it's gonna be in Guadalajara and Mexico.
Wait. Oh, that's right, because it's the second game, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. I love that, the World Cup and football just has a way of revisiting history. And I think it was poetic that we are matching up with South Africa, right? They had to host us in the 2010 opening match. Now we get to host them in the 2026 World Cup. It's beautiful to see that sort of have
No, like I said,
full circle.
in that 2010, South Africa had a much tougher team than they do now. Now everybody's most of the team is based in South Africa, so I mean, I don't want to say Golisa, but I mean it. I mean it should be a fun afternoon in El Azteca on June 11th.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I feel like Mexico has a tendency to undermine their opponents. We've seen them play down to them. Like, I do think African nations, just in general, give Mexico trouble because of their physicality, right? Because of those fast twitch muscles, like Juan Carlos Osorio say. And my only concern is like the height difference there, because let's be honest, Malagon is going to be our starting goalkeeper unless something tragic happens. He's going to be our starting goalkeeper in the World Cup next year. It's all indications that he will be our starting goalkeeper, and he doesn't have that aerial presence. He doesn't contest air balls. He doesn't like to come out. So that's my only concern against South Africa. You know what I mean? Is that threat, that aerial threat.
Yeah, but I'm gonna reiterate this team does not compare. Obviously, Mexico doesn't compare to the 2000 team, but
Yeah.
but Mexico at this moment, I think Mexico's a little more has a little more talent than South Africa, and I mean, I would have been. It would have been. I mean, it could have been Ivory Coast. If it would have been fucking Ivory Coast,
Yeah.
well, then fucking
Yeah, I'm gonna go over all the groups real quick, and then we'll touch back on Mexico. So in Group A, Mexico will kick off things against South Africa, Republic of Korea, and then the winner of the European playoff Group D, which is between Czech Republic, Ireland. So the winner of that team will play against the winner of Denmark versus Macedonia. The only team that I'm kind of concerned about is Denmark, if they end up like winning the whole thing, or Ireland. I feel like Ireland could be problematic for Mexico, but hopefully by that time, by the final game, we'll have everything resolved.
but that game will be in Azteca, so obviously I don't think the altitude would really favor one of those either Denmark or especially Ireland. I don't think so.
Yeah. Moving on to Group B. So Canada will play their opening match against the winner of the playoff A. Italy is in that, and Wales is in that. So, I mean, that could be a problem for Canada. But then they have Qatar, which is accessible, and then Switzerland. So I think Canada could have a tough group.
Yeah, you know what? Switzerland in the last World Cup where they had that what was it? They had that some thrilling game. Was it against it wasn't Albania? Who was it? But no, it's not they're not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
So it's a spicy, not spicy, but it's an interesting group. It has some flavor in it.
Moving on to Group C, Brazil. They got drawn with Morocco for the opening game, which is going to be their most problematic match. But then things soften up with Haiti and Scotland in Group C.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I don't know how much of a limit is, but Morocco is finishes as a winner of the group. It's just Brazil isn't the Brazil of old.
Really? That's a hot take already. I love it.
No, and it's like, okay, so you look at it in 2002, they didn't have good qualifiers, but they were fucking loaded still. If you look at this group, they didn't have good qualifiers and they're not loaded. I mean, Vinicius, they want to place him in Ballon d'Oro, but he's not. I don't consider him an elite guy.
I have a lot of questions for Brazil. The main one being Ancelotti, right? Like, this is the first time Brazil. Well, I don't know if it's the first time, but it's been a while since they've had a foreign coach. I want to say this is the first time they had a foreign coach. Am I tripping? Like Brazil?
I don't. Let me see. Let me check.
I think so. I think it's the first time they've ever had a foreign coach. But everyone's very curious to see how Brazil do with Ancelotti, right? He coached.
Well, they had three, but back in the day, they had in 25 it was a Uruguayan, in 44 a Portuguese, and in the World Cup era, for 1 year they had an Argentine, Filippo Nunez. But I think this is the first time they go to a World Cup with a extranjero.
For sure. By the way, if you're on Twitter Spaces or YouTube, hop in. We want to get your reactions. I'm moving on to Group D. USA. Let's be honest, man. USA got not the most accessible group. They're seeded. They have Paraguay, which did they just beat them? I feel like they beat Paraguay, right?
They beat Paraguay. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Paraguay. I
wanted Colombia in that group, damn it.
So their opening match will be against Paraguay, and then they play against Australia, which is no slouch. I mean, they don't have Timmy Cahill, but I don't know. Australia is kind of like a fun team to watch. And then the winner of the European playoff Group C. I have to go back and figure out which country that is, but I think USA, they could have had an easier group, and they didn't. Moving on to Group E, Germany with Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador.
This is not as one of my friends texted me, it's an easy group for Germany. I wouldn't say it's that easy because Germany, they're not well. And then Ecuador had a very good qualifier. Yeah. And I think Ivory Coast is the African champ. And then Curacao, they're in a honeymoon right now, and they have players in Europe. They have they're finally hooking up to their diaspora in the Netherlands. So I mean, I don't know. Germany should qualify, but it's not going to be the cakewalk everybody thinks.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of question marks for Germany, right? They didn't get out of the group stage in 2 World Cups, right? 2018 and 2022.
Yeah.
So
just look at their squad right now. It doesn't really. It's just it's a little unflattering, but you know, World Cup is different. I mean, that's what we. In 2002, they didn't look that flattering, but they ended up making it all the way to the final. So who knows?
Group F, we have the Netherlands, Japan, and then the playoff winner of B, and then Tunisia.
I think this one. I think this group plays in Monterrey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to be quite an adjustment for honestly all these countries. And everybody talks about
it's a fine group.
Everyone talks about Monterrey Stadium being like an oven, like it's really hot because of the way it was built, and I don't think they have air conditioning, or if they do, it's like I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting factor for this group. Group G, we have Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand.
This has to be the weakest group, the most uninspiring group of the whole field. And I mean, and considering this field is very diluted because of 48 teams. This one is just
Yeah.
just call me when it's over.
Yeah, Belgium should have a cakewalk. I was, when I was looking at the pot D, I was really hoping we would get New Zealand. But they ended up in Belgium's group. Group H, this one's a little bit interesting. Spain, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay.
That's I mean, unfortunately, that Spain Uruguay closes the group, but I mean, it's I'll watch it.
This one will be like who ends up in first. I think that's the big question.
I think in this group, I think there's also a game in Guadalajara in this group.
And another thing too is Saudi Arabia. Everybody kind of undermined them in the last World Cup, and they beat Argentina. So you can never underestimate them.
They bounced out Mexico. So
yeah, absolutely. Moving to Group I, France, Senegal. I love that matchup, right? Rematch of the 2002 World Cup. And then a team from the playoff, and then Norway.
This one's a good group. This was a tough group.
Yeah. I know that like France and Senegal have some history, so I love the fact that they're matched up in this World Cup. And everybody was wondering, where is Norway going to end up? They were kind of like the team that nobody wanted to, get in their group, and they end up being in this group. So I don't know if like Haaland can carry Norway to anything past the group stage, right? I think obviously they have some other players. There's that kid that was picked up by Real Madrid, then he went to Arsenal. I forgot his name. He was a wonderkin from Norway. I forgot his fucking name. But yeah, they have that player. They have Haaland, and it's nice to see Norway back in the World Cup. Let's talk about Group J. I already knew Argentina was going to have an accessible group before this even, this draw even happened.
It's on the platter.
Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, Algeria could be a tough team, but I really don't see. And I think they're gonna play out of Atlanta, so Messi's gonna be close to home. So to Miami. So it's you knew this shit was gonna happen. So
yeah,
it's another one coming when it's over.
I know Algeria almost knocked out Germany in the World Cup once upon a time. They had to go to overtime. But I don't know.
Algeria had that with that 2010 when they had that chaotic game with the U.S. In that group. It was they could scrap, but I just don't see. I don't see Austria or Jordan scrapping.
Group K, you have Portugal. You have a team that is yet to be determined because of the playoffs. Uzbekistan and Colombia.
Ooh. And I think El Comandante in Portugal, they'll play in the Chivas Holy Ground in El Akron.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they'll have a game there. What I was hearing from the Televisa.
Look, I already knew before this draw even happened. I knew Guadalajara was the place to be at for the World Cup next year, but this just solidifies it. And we have confirmed Mexico will be playing against Portugal next year as a tune-up match before the World Cup. That game is going to be in El Azteca, right?
Yeah, and I also think not only will Portugal play in Guadalajara, but I think they might also play in El Azteca. They might have another game in Mexico, and I think in a game in Houston.
Wow.
From what I was hearing from the Televisa, but who knows?
Yeah.
Tomorrow they're gonna fucking set everything.
And last but not least, Group L. I know Rio Ferdinand was sweating. He was one of the hosts tonight.
And this is the group of death. I knew that. There was a chance because of the expanded field that there was going to be a complicated group, but I think this one is if nobody wants to call it a group of death, this is the closest thing.
England will kick off against Croatia. Is this the same Croatia though from years past? Because Modric is old. I don't even think he retired.
Yeah, they're like with Chile, their golden generation got old, but they still got some talent. So
yeah,
it should be interesting. And Ghana, these guys, it's just the biotype, man. These guys could give you Except and like with Panama, the biotype, these guys, they're athletes. They're scrappy. They play good soccer. So it's
Yeah, we have
it's not
the
it's a group to watch.
we have the African Cup of Nations that's going to kick off very soon. So we'll have a better understanding of, where these African teams stack up in anticipation of the World Cup. Right now, the current champions are the Ivory Coast, but I know Ghana could be problematic. So the group is England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I don't know. I think Panama could have a puncher's chance. I think they could upset some of the teams. I mean, they are one of our own. They are from CONCACAF, and they've been, trying to overtake Mexico and USA as the Gold Cup winner, but they haven't. They've fallen short a few times, but they're definitely not a team that you want to face.
Well, they're not a slouch. It's not. This is not the Panama from 2018. They got more. They got that World Cup experience. They've been growing in the area.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Coach Thomas Christensen has had a good project there. So we'll see.
We will see. I'm liking this draw. I think that the teams most of the groups are pretty balanced, and I think this is quite an adjustment. Expanding to more teams. We're seeing some debutees, right, for the World Cup. Curacao is one of them, right? I think what was the other one? Cabo Verde. Has Haiti ever qualified for World Cup, or is this their first one?
Yeah, they qualified in the I think 74 where supposedly they did a voodoo one. The back then CONCACAF would do the qualifiers in with one host nation, and supposedly it was in Haiti, and they did voodoo on Mexico, and they qualified to Germany 74.
We're gonna have a former World Cup photojournalist chiming in now. He went to the 2006 and 2010 World Cup. Ron, welcome to the podcast.
How are you doing, gentlemen? I'm actually at the airport. I was actually watching the draw.
Hey, real quick, how do you feel about the rematch between Mexico and South Africa?
I think it's overall. I think they had a very, very good draw for them. Very accessible.
Very accessible.
None of the teams? I mean, I wouldn't say none of the teams are pushovers, but very, very accessible. Mexico should advance out of the group.
Yeah. Did you cover that match in South Africa?
I was there. I was there. Yep.
And, it's kind of funny how some things don't change, right? We're going to be hosting them in the opening match of the World Cup, and then it's the same coach. It's Javier Aguirre.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Mexico's path, I think, ends up with Group E. So in the round of 16, they could either have Curacao, Ecuador, Ivory Coast, or even Germany.
So, yeah. Regarding your question about Haiti, yes, the 74 qualifying campaign, the one where Mexico's CONCACAF guy, in an attempt to basically fuck over Cañedo, decided to basically hold the qualifying campaign based, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Haiti. Yeah. So, and that's what's the name? La Puente was part of that team.
Rafa Puente was the goalie.
Yeah, and La Puente, he was actually on that team. Manolo. Yeah, he was a good player. So, yeah, so it's a sore spot for the old timers, But no.
And they blamed it on voodoo. They said voodoo was the reason they got eliminated.
It was a combination of everything. That's just the press, but it was just a combination of just poor execution. Yeah. Conceding home and away. We don't do that. But anyhow, other than that, I didn't really see a group of death. And I kind of suspected that wasn't going to be the case because obviously it's a lot more
diluted
teams and diluted exactly. So like I said, I don't see any team. I mean, if I were to say like which team or which group is the quote unquote the group of death, I'd probably
they say Group L with England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama.
that one. I was actually going to say the France, Senegal, Norway.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, France, Senegal, Norway. That one's gonna be interesting.
So, but yeah, like I said, I think you guys are.
Iraq and Bolivia playoff, I think.
Oh,
So yeah, so I think the group that group and the one that you mentioned, the England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama, I think that's probably also going to be those are the toughest ones. I was also like when I was on the plane, they're just cracking up, I was thinking for as world travel as Wayne Gretzky is, he doesn't know how to fucking pronounce a lot of the countries.
dude, so bad.
He's going to get most.
You know what?
I mean, this guy. What's up?
What was the one that he blundered pretty bad? It was really bad. I forgot what country.
Oh yeah.
Curacao.
Curacao.
Yeah.
He said Curacao.
Yeah, he fucked it up.
Yeah.
I think he also said Macedonia or Macadamia nuts or some shit like that. So yeah.
Mexico's a host nation. How come they didn't have a Mexican athlete?
Yeah.
Pretty easily had fucking Canelo up there.
They had Shaq, they had Aaron Judge, and then they had Wayne Gretzky. There was no Mexican up there.
They could have
Actually, I read an article that the reason they decided to bring these guys from different sports is to basically bring more eyeballs that normally would not, which is,
but Canelo boxing.
Yeah, Canelo brings in a lot of. Oh, I guess not. Yeah, I don't know. I am upset though that there wasn't much Mexican representation except for that Pocho Danny Ramirez, who was getting clowned. He was getting clowned by Rio, dude. He was trying to keep he was going off script, and you could tell that they were behind on schedule. So they kept reprimanding him every time he would have a cheeky comment. When
you could tell who wanted to fucking correct him a couple times.
Casillas, he was interviewing Casillas, and he's like, Rio, how many goals do you score against Casillas? He's like, I'm a defender. Yeah, and then at the end, he's like, I think Ghana's gonna beat England, and then Rio's like, I'm gonna see you backstage. Yeah, I don't know.
These attempts at comedy were fucking cringe.
There was a lot of cringe stuff.
So, but here's
it doesn't compare to 1994 where Robin Williams told Sepp Blatter, "I just met you in the bathroom."
I love how he said, "Mr. Blatter."
Yeah, Mr. Blatter. Yeah, Mr. Blatter. I just saw you.
You want me to go with these blue balls? Okay, no problem. Yeah, no, there was some moments in today's draw that were pretty cringe, but I will say Andrea Bocelli's opening performance was incredible, and that was probably the only saving grace from the rest of the show. But yeah,
I was hoping that someone would scream in the back, boats and hoes,
Hey, we're opening up our channels to everybody else that wants to chime in, so feel free to request to speak. A lot of you are probably working right now, but just go in the bathroom, pretend you're taking a shit, and turn that mic on, yo. We got you. I will say the worst thing that could happen to Mexico right now is to think that they're in an easy group and take the pedal off the metal and underestimate their opponents. I will say, even though this is an expanded World Cup, it's soccer, right? Anybody can beat anybody any day of the week. This is an elimination tournament, so past records do not go into what's going to happen when this World Cup kicks off. And I think the worst thing Mexico can do is, be like, oh, it's South Africa. Oh, it's Korea. Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds if by el minuto 15 Mexico has not scored that the Bulls are going to read down? It's high odds.
That's the thing, bro. This is a very, very, what's the word? It's a fan base that can turn on you at any given moment. Yeah. We have,
I think you're right. I mean, it's accessible, but you're right. They need to. Javier needs to make sure that these guys are, they're not fucking. They got to put in the work and stuff like that. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we all know that it's an accessible group.
Because we kind of said that in the last World Cup. Obviously, Argentina was the big draw, but we were like, oh, Poland, like we always get out of the group. Saudi Arabia, oh, they'll be and we didn't get out of the group. So I feel like this one's even easier on paper. But the worst thing that could happen to Mexico right now is draw against South Africa, and then you got a tough match against Korea, and then you got to close out against the European team. Like you could go into that last game having to need to win, and that's not where Mexico needs to be.
But,
No, you're right.
Look, a win with third places going in, a win could get you in. But Mexico there's I wouldn't say there's hefty expectations, but at least you expect them to fucking go in as the first place.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're a seeded team. You're at home. The expectation is you win the group, and you have a tune-up match in the round of 32.
Yeah.
We have FC Gorditos joining us. Welcome, Gorditos.
What's going on, boys? I'm still working, so van a ser como short and sweet answers, I guess. Grupo Fácil, that's what we all say. Obviously, Grupo Fácil, está la camita tendida, so we can go to that quinto partido and beyond. But como dicen, shit happens. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. I have been, how would I put it? ¿Cómo se dice esa word? Hold on. Not scouting. Well, let's just say scouting. Scouting the USMT Twitter side, and they're all saying the same thing. Que la tienen fácil. We already beat Paraguay. They're our boys. Ya los tenemos.
No.
So we'll see if it's true, dude. I think Paraguay, obviously, in un friendly match, anything can happen también, but they're not giving it 110%. No sabes que other good players pueden salir. So they're already saying Paraguay W. So it's funny. Ya nomás, I'm in the sidelines just checking, pinche, stalking. That's the word I was looking for. I'm stalking them. A ver qué están haciendo. It's pretty funny out there in the USMT X pages.
Do some recon work. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then the player you guys were talking about is Odegaard.
Odegaard,
The Denmark
thank
player?
you. No,
Yep.
he's Norwegian. Yeah, he's Norwegian. Yes, sir. Tomas. Tomas wants to come in. Let's hear it from Tomas. Welcome to the podcast, man.
What's up, boys? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can. I work from home, so I can fuck off a little bit here. But
Yes.
yeah, you know what? Just scanning the draws here. I know that maybe Twitter and like the fan base might say that Mexico got gifted a easy group. I think that South Korea just traditionally matches up well with Mexico. A lot of these Asian teams actually almost kind of mirror the Mexican player profile physically. So I don't think that's a walk in the park. South Africa, I don't think they're the strongest African team, but they still have that, it's that athletic ability that could give them trouble. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect from Mexico. I have no expectations. That's my expectations for Mexico. I think that if Mexico, just kind of thinking of the Mexican player psychology of now, not of old, but of now. I honestly think that they're sitting back at home thinking like, all right, we got this.
We got this. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that their training is going to reflect it. Just me being pessimistic, but also realistic, I think. The other thing, I think FC Gorditos was talking about Team USA. I think Team USA actually is going to do well. I think their group is pretty easy. Paraguay is the dollar store of the wise. Uruguay is the better version, right?
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna hold you to that, dog.
I believe so. I think Australia, you don't know what you're doing with Australia. They're kind of a mixed bag. For the most part, they're not great.
And they get the winner of the Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo playoff.
Exactly. The other thing is like just from like a a fan perspective of the World Cup experience, like everyone loves that hype, right? When the World Cup is around, it's like whether you're a soccer fan or not, it brings people to the TVs, like day drinking in the summer, all that shit, right? It's a great thing. Personally, I'm interested to see what Curaçao does. I think that country, and I think it's Suriname, they have a lot of these players that are playing in the Dutch league,
Yeah.
and I think
they're
that
gonna Sephora.
yeah, I think Curaçao in their group with Germany and maybe I don't know if it's Ivory Coast or something, whatever that group is. I think that they could make some noise, or at least I am interested to see what they do. If they do well, I mean, I think that doesn't bode well for teams like Mexico or the U.S. who, those guys are. It's just a matter of time. They have a direct pipeline in the Dutch league. So those are just my thoughts. Death group. I think it's that England Croatia group.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna fucking go to blows. The Balkan nations, they ball out. Croatia's just fucking. They're good. So I think it's gonna be entertaining.
Thank you, Tomas. Yeah, the winner of Group A, so Mexico's group, will play the third best team in it says third group. So CEFHI. I don't know what that means. I think like third best place team in that group. So it's gonna be accessible for Mexico in the round of 32 if they get that far, if they win the group, right? And that will be in Mexico City. If they win that match in the round of 16, it will also be in Mexico City. And then if they win that match, they will finish the rest of the tournament in the States, Miami, Atlanta, and then in New York. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of factors that go into this. I will say, in these modern times, anybody can beat anybody. You get into the World Cup, I think that alone is an accomplishment, and you cannot undermine or underestimate any opponent. And I think a lot of the, historically successful nations are going to be doing just that. And we might see some upsets. I think one thing that people are severely overlooking is the climate and the altitude. At least the games that are going to be in Mexico, that's going to be a motherfucker. And teams are not going to be acclimated to that. And that's going to be a factor for sure.
And the heat. I mean, some of these stadiums are not dome stadiums, so they're not going to have AC. And then, as we saw in Brazil, como dijo mi amigo René Romano en el 2014, los sacas de Europa y Inglaterra y otros equipos dieron las nalgas because of the heat.
Yep. Yeah. So, for example, MetLife Stadium in New York, that's open.
Ooh, and
Kansas City. Kansas City. Levi's won't be too bad. Here in the Bay Area, it does get hot, but Levi's historically hasn't been crazy heat.
Is the Energy Stadium dome?
Let's see. I'm looking at Philly. Philly's open. Seattle's open. Miami's open. Miami's gonna be a motherfucker. That humidity in the summer. Oh God.
And you know what? SoFi.
Oh, it's hot.
There's a false that it's dome. No, it's not dome. It has a cover.
It's hot.
Under that fucking glass, you're baking.
It's like a greenhouse effect. I had to cover the 2021 Gold Cup final, and it's air conditioned.
I was there for a Chargers opening game, and we sat in an end zone. And they say they didn't put fucking AC because they wanted to fucking be environmental friendly, and they wanted to fucking the breeze from the Pacific. But fuck that, it's fucking hot.
Yeah. The problem with SoFi is it's not completely closed off. So they do have like that glass ceiling, but then it's open, so like all the air escapes there. So even if you got the AC blowing, it
fucking shoots off that glass. Woo.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like an ant.
So LA is gonna be hot. Monterrey, also historically known that it's like a very hot. It runs hot. It's a hot stadium. It's open.
Guadalajara could be hot in the summer too.
Guadalajara, it's interesting because in Mexico it rains. It rains. Yeah,
it could be raining. You're right. Yeah.
And I don't know about. I can't speak to Canada, but Toronto's pitch is also open. You mentioned Houston. I think Houston is closed, so they'll be good.
Well, the other thing is the elevation, right? Like usually you want to be able to, if you're not used to any elevation, you need to be there at least like, I know this sounds crazy, but like a month's time ahead just to acclimate. And these guys are like these. I look at these European teams. These guys are playing in the Premier with long sleeves and rainy weather all year long. Like if we saw like this tournament this past summer where people were complaining about the humidity, like it could shake up to be quite interesting. Where these guys are like on the sidelines.
There's a boxing champion, Paul Malajani. I asked him about fighting in elevation, and he says that you need to do a good month of preparation, because if you don't, like he described it this way: playing in elevation is like running up a flight of stairs with fucking a bag of bricks on your back. So that's why you like these high caliber athletes. They need a good month.
Yeah, I've seen people pass out from that stuff. So it's like combine that with the heat. These people aren't used to like hydrating and that type of thing. It'll be interesting.
You know, I think listeners and fans don't really like factor that in when they're watching, you know, live soccer. And then also like everyone's playing FIFA and think all these people are like indestructible. But dude, the altitude is a motherfucker, especially in La Ciudad de Mexico. Like I grew up going to Mexico, and like in my hometown, it's pretty high, like over a mile high. And I would play like Cascaritas out there, and I'd be fucking done, bro. Like in 15 minutes, I was out, bro. It's a factor. It's harder to breathe, and then you know, with the heat, oh, forget about it, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be a factor for sure, and I'm very curious to see how.
Going that far, I one time I want to go cover Canelo in Big Bear, which is it's a decent elevation compared to Los Angeles. And by the fucking 8th hour, I was already fucking just running around there. I was fucking feeling it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and these guys are running up and down, playing at high intensity for 90 minutes. Obviously, there will probably be the water break, right? So there's going to be those factors because it is going to be in North America.
I wouldn't be surprised if those teams either they prepare in Mexico or Toluca or even in Denver. Because Denver has a high elevation if they prepare there, because they're gonna need it.
Yeah, they're absolutely gonna need it. Overall, you know, I think for Mexico, a very accessible group. They should be the group winners. You know, and I still have a lot of questions as to who our final players will be, right? Because there's still a lot of question marks on some of these players. I think if you're Santiago Jimenez, you absolutely need to push for a move this January window. You got to get into form. You got to get into rhythm. And we're running out of time. And, you know, Serie A and Milan is not doing you any favors. He needs to
start. Well, striker,
his agent said that they're staying put, right?
That's exactly what you say when you want to move.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, as far as striker, it's Jimenez, it's him. It's Berterame, and then
maybe Hormiga, maybe Hormiga.
Quiñones?
Yeah. No, so did they?
Because Vasco said he doesn't like Quiñones outside.
Are they doing 23 or 26 players?
I think they're doing 26. Yeah, they're doing 26.
Yeah, if there's 26 openings, I have faith that Hormiga can slide into there, but who knows, right? He didn't get any look in this last international break, which I'm very disappointed. I wish he would have gotten some minutes. He didn't. So, yeah, we're still waiting on Hormiga's debut, and this far along, preparing for the World Cup. I don't know if he'll slide into the roster unless something happens to Raul Jimenez or Santi Jimenez. But, yeah, I think, for this upcoming transfer window, I think if you're Santi Jimenez, you want to get some minutes. You want to get some goal-scoring opportunities, because Serie A is not doing him any favors, and we need a goal scorer for the World Cup. We're not going to get through on just set pieces unless Aguirre tries to implement that in training. I think set pieces has always been overlooked for the national team. We did really well under Juan Carlos Osorio, defending set pieces and scoring on set pieces and
scoring in set pieces during that was the bread and butter of the La Volpe years.
Exactly. You got to take advantage of all the, I feel like Mexico draws a lot of corners, and like they do the short corner or they do some bullshit. I'm like, bro, like you need to really like run these in training and get it down, because, in the World Cup, dude, that's the difference from winning the group and not, and I feel like South Africa will probably be, it'll be a good test for us in the opening match. I think the the heat and the altitude could be a factor for them. And we should win that game. We should win that game. Korea is going to be tough because they're, if they're just like Japan, they're going to be pressing us. And we do not do well with the high press. Like, I was there in Oakland when Japan high pressed the shit out of Malagon, and he was fumbling the ball really bad, distributing the ball, making errors. And yeah, it could be a problem for us. I don't think that they can do that for 90 minutes in in the Mexican heat. So that will be interesting. And then you got to close out against a European team, which you can't undermine. And they're going to be scrappy. They're going to be difficult. It could be Denmark. It could be Ireland.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like, this is the World Cup for anyone to win it. Honestly, like, I know you have your favorites with Argentina and Spain, but I don't know. Maybe there could be a new country that goes all the way.
Well, the tournament's set up so that Argentina and Spain do not meet into the final. So
Yeah.
So you get a hint there. Obviously, it's based on the rankings, but I'm pretty sure FIFA wanted it this way.
Yeah. Spain has a quite accessible group with Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. And they also have a lot of depth in their roster. Thierry Henry was on the Fox broadcast tonight, and he's very confident that France can have a deep run only because they have such a deep roster. And I can definitely agree with that. When you're playing in a tournament now that's been expanded to 48 teams, like, you're going to have to rely on some substitutions and rotating the team. And France have so much pool that it's going to be hard for them to pick 26 players. Whereas in Mexico,
given the expanded schedule, do you think it could lead to teams doing the load management thing? Like, fuck it, we're already in, so let's do some load management in game.
That is going to have to be a factor. And I hate to even think about this, but injuries, right? Like, your injury could really screw your chances over. And I'll be honest, man, I'm kind of nervous for some of these stadiums in the States, right? Because they're, football specific stadiums, American football. So, they're going to have to put like natural grass over turf on some of these stadiums. And like, that's always a factor, right? Like,
like SoFi, they're going to put in the grass right after the NFL season.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like not the most ideal of conditions. It's not like Santiago Bernabeu where they have like 4 pitches underneath their current pitch and they can just rotate them.
But let's say that Spain versus Uruguay game, in the third game of the group for them, and they already got 2 wins each. Do you think they really?
Because someone has to win the group.
Yeah, but then you also look at the bracket and you say, "Fuck it," it doesn't make a difference.
I think in this World Cup, winning the group is going to be the priority because you have just you're going to be sort of drafted with other accessible teams. Like, winning the group should be the priority for all these favorites. And
when does the European calendar end? Let's see.
I think like we'll know everybody by March, which is just a little bit too late in my opinion.
But I mean, as far as for the player preparation, when do they,
are you talking about just like the season?
The seasons and the champions.
That's a good question.
Because the fucking tournament starting June 11th, which is it's a little earlier than well, I mean, the Japan was May 28th, but most of them.
So the Champions League final will take place on May 30, 2026.
Oh fuck, that's not a lot of.
Yeah, and the world kicks off in what, June?
June 11th.
June 11th. Yeah, so.
It's gonna be a little tight.
That's gonna be a little tight. Yeah. Rifalo looks like he wants to talk. Again, welcome everybody on Twitter Spaces. We really want to hear from you guys, your reactions of this group draw. But we have the Kid Watcher, El Rifado, on.
Oh, Rifado! Before you start, who's your under 23 player to watch in the tournament besides Gilberto Mora?
Rifado's trying to get his mic unmuted.
Oh, sorry about that. I was speaking and I was still muted. But my pick would probably be someone like Vargas or Hormiga. I think Hormiga's got got a good shot of making this World Cup roster and making a dent for this team because he's scoring goals as opposed to Santi Jimenez, who's not, as well as who else? Raul Jimenez is not a starter for Fulham, but when he does start and he does play, he usually plays well. So I think it's there's a clear path for Hormiga to probably solidify himself, and hopefully that happens. But I'm a little bit scared for this lineup. I mean, for this draw, because of Denmark and Ireland possibly being in the group with us. And that's kind of sad to say. Like, I'm not even scared of like the Frances or the Argentinas. I'm like afraid of what someone like Denmark or Ireland could do to us. Both of them have been playing well. And then, Denmark has like a really stacked squad. So depending on who we land with, we could very well be second place. But we're gonna have that home field advantage, 2 games in the Azteca, I think 1 at Akron, and then I don't know how the knockout stages go. But it's not an easy draw for us, and like maybe even South Africa could surprise us. There's a lot of African players who are physically, more apt than their Mexican counterparts, and that could trouble us. And then South Korea is no slouch, so I definitely think it could be a harder draw than the previous one in Qatar, and we didn't get out of the group stage then, so not the best results in my opinion.
I want to say this again with South Africa. They don't have notable guys in Europe. Half of the team plays for the I don't want to butcher Melbourne Sundowns. I mean, and then look at Korea. The team still flows through fucking Son Heung-min. I don't want to butcher that name. Still flows through him. So you know what? It could have been. You could have fucking ended up with fucking Uzbekistan and Norway. I mean, it's. I like this group. It's accessible.
So I think you're downplaying African, like the complexities of qualifying to the World Cup in Africa.
When we think
it's not easy.
Teams, we think of Senegal, these opponent teams, Cameroon, Nigeria. South Africa has never been that. They've never been. They've never been in that category with those guys.
So here's
they've been farther down in the continent, and they didn't even qualify in their own World Cup. I mean, that tells you the quality, historical quality they have.
So I'm probably going to be partly responsible for if Mexico fucks up against Bafana, because when they got eliminated, the guy, when I was riding with the guy from Notimex and another guy, we kept fucking laughing at our driver, cracking jokes about them being eliminated. And then like when we were heading to I don't remember where we were heading, but we asked Bernie, our Lucky, I'm sorry, we're asking Lucky, our the driver, to stop near this gas station, and we were basically trying to negotiate with some of the street guys for 50% off for Bafana shirts because it was no longer a wanted item, So I mean we were basically just making fun of those guys for getting eliminated. So I don't know. We could get jinxed. I could have jinxed the team. I'll tell you, dude. But no, like I said, I don't think it's easy. By no means is it easy. All these guys are professionals. But I do maintain that it's accessible. I think that, but winning that first fucking game is important. And unfortunately, the team that probably fares the best against Mexico is Korea. You know?
Those motherfuckers are going to be pressing us and running like crazy. Again, though, I don't think they can handle that for 90 minutes in the altitude and in the heat. I mean, I guess the second game will be
that game's gonna be
in Guadalajara. So maybe not the altitude, but at least the heat for sure.
The rain.
But I will say this. I will say this. This is the true and true when it comes to the Mexican national team. We are our own worst enemy, and that extends to the fan base. This is a fan base that could flip on you if they don't like what they see within the first, like Albert said, 15 minutes, bro. If you're not setting the tone, if you're not dominating, this could be a fucking nightmare for the Mexican national team. I've never seen the tide turn on a World Cup stage. I've seen it in qualifiers. I've seen it in friendlies, obviously, most recently. But I think that there is absolutely a lot of pressure on the Mexican player right now because they're at home. And now, seeing this draw, the accessibility of this group, the expectations is that we qualify caminando. And if we don't play to that expectation, this could be a very ugly turn of events once we kick off this World Cup next year.
There is one saving grace, though, right? Like to be able to attend a World Cup match, either I would imagine it's going to command a higher ticket price or maybe a select kind of waiting list. So
did you not see the highlights from Formula One? You
exactly. So
in Mexico City, we had a Formula One event, and they still had borracheras and fights and shit, bro. So
shit,
money is not going to be a factor. We're still going to have those naco fans out there.
I was thinking maybe get the educado population, or like the fresa population, like. Yeah, like maybe do some kind of incentive where it's like, hey, fresas get half off, or you get in first, so that it becomes this bland environment. But you're right.
It's gonna be a sanitized crowd like in the Super Bowl, because I think they're only gonna release around 30% of the tickets. The other 60% is like in the Super Bowl. It goes to partners, to teams,
and international media, international influencers.
But they get palcos, no? They don't get us ticket.
So here's the thing. I was actually going to bring this up. I was lucky enough, but even though I didn't get it because obviously everything was sold out in the second draw, the lottery ticket, right? Oh, I got it, and I logged in maybe about 5-10 minutes after the thing opened, and all the matches for the Mexico games, all in US and stuff like that, everything was sold. I couldn't buy anything, right? And for me, the way FIFA did this was really stupid, because there were, like, for example, in the draw, there were too many teams that you didn't know who was going to be there. And you're having a draw, and you still don't know who's still all invited into the party. I thought that was really half-assed, especially for the amount. That's happened before in past draws where you don't know, like, maybe one or two teams, but to not know basically what 8 of them, that really pissed me off. But the reason I bring that up is because when I was looking for fucking tickets, I didn't want to pull the trigger on anything, because like I don't even know who the fuck is playing who. And I thought that was just so fucking backward ass. But going back to your talking points about, I think that because of the prices, the prices that I was seeing, you're basically gonna get the fresas no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about
it, politicians and narcos, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: you may get away with certain shit in South Africa because obviously when you were there, most of them were fucking fresas, right? And stuff like. But the fact that it's going to be held in the U.S. and it's going to be held in Canada, and it's going to be held in fucking Mexico, dude, they're gonna fucking you're gonna get these really bad. You're going to get fucking guys that treat it as a social event rather than a sporting event.
No, but you know what? I think in the U.S. you're going to have less fresas, because right here, obviously, there's more of a, your common folk like us. If we really want to, we could fucking say fuck it. I'm going to fucking put a G and fucking go watch the team. And in Mexico, it's not as accessible as it is here. So I think the crowd could be different if they make it that far over here. Yes.
I have no faith in the Mexican fan over there, especially the ones that they're going to be buying the tickets, because they were outraged, dude.
Oh yeah,
they were fucking.
We have real quick. I'm gonna go to the comments on YouTube. Love handles. Shout out to you, 90210. I wonder if this actually pressures El Vasco and the players even more than having a difficult group. If they don't make it out of this manageable group at home, possibly the worst fracaso of all time. Thank you for your comment. Love handles. Hey, we have one of the OGs joining us, El Chiquis. Welcome, man. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Hey, man. How's it going? How's it going? Hey, I got two real quick thoughts. First of all, I drop in and the first thing I hear is like, you saw that meme from Martinoli. I think he was talking about that Pocho. He had a picture of that Pocho interviewing Hugo Sanchez, and he said like, "Oh, we're talking about the World Cup," and he said, "Oh, when I used to play for Real Madrid." It reminds me of Ron when he's saying, "Oh, my South Africa stories or my German stories. Hey, Hood, remember on the train?" It reminds me of me, Ron, man. What's going on? And then number two, I think I hear some Mexican fatigue over here from one of you guys. I don't remember who. Like, I get it, man. All these borrachos fighting at F1, and we're gonna see the same thing. And then whoever said like it's us, I think that's Divas, man. Talking about all this stuff. And there's pochos over here in the U.S. that are going to act the fool. Even the ones that throw down a G, these dudes still acting the fool, man. And sure, they're going to be like fanboys. Like in San Antonio, everyone was all happy about them fanboying and saying, you know, they're going for Mexico and the buenas y en las malas. But they're still going to get drunk. They're going to still act the fool. But it should be good. I think, like you guys are saying, it's going to be a manageable group. They can be okay, but I don't think the reaction to any type of fracaso is going to be unexpected. If they don't get out of the group, it's going to be like, yep, this is Mexico. This every year. Nothing new.
But it's just there's no the way the tournament's set up. There's no fucking possible way unless they fucking shit the bed and fucking I don't know. Unless fucking Mora get, 5 guys get injured, I just do not see. All you have to win is one fucking game, and you're practically in the second.
Would you agree? The worst thing that could happen to Mexico in that opening stage is a 1-1 draw, like they did in 2010. Because it puts so much pressure.
Yeah, considering the circumstances, yeah.
It puts so much pressure on that second game against Korea, where you have to win.
But that's because you're thinking of them winning the group. But I mean, just say fucking just qualify. One fucking win gets you in.
I don't know about all that. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's possible. One fucking win gets you in.
We have Joely. Welcome, Joely.
There's going to be, what's up, gentlemen? There's going to be 8 best third place teams.
Like,
so I think
for parameters, yeah. the under 17 World Cup, Mexico with one fucking win, Mexico qualified because one win and because of the yellow card tiebreaker, and everybody thought they were done. So it's real fun. I mean, you gotta really fucking shit the bed if you're gonna fucking for Mexico to fucking crash out.
Yeah, no, they have played good advantages. The team's doing way better than it was. I know they have that current 5-match run, but I think people are making too much out of that. You know, they're making a mountain out of a molehill. Type of situation.
What's your overall reaction to this draw? We have Korea, we have South Africa, and then we're gonna have potentially Ireland or Denmark.
Yeah, I think it's an accessible group. The best thing is opening against South Africa. So I think for me, I feel it's a mandatory W. I agree with you too. No pressure, and it's important that they win the group. Because that way you avoid the stronger teams in the next round, and you want that quinto sexto partido, especially if you're hosting for the 3rd time. But I think you see a lot of the rivals pretty accessible, It's a pretty accessible World Cup where I think Mex can do a good run. I wouldn't say they could win it, but, maybe...
They have to win it. They're the host nation. They have to win.
Yeah, but they're not at the level of Spain, France, Argentina.
We're talking about South Africa, Korea, and European.
Yeah, I mean, win the cup, not the group.
Oh.
I mean, they can Forrest Gump their way to like the semis. It's possible that we see teams
in '86 they had no faith in Mexico winning the group, so that's why.
Who was in their group in '86?
They ended up playing in Monterrey
Belgium,
because they had no faith in them, so they moved them out of the
Paraguay.
So they had them. What was it? They switched it so that they wouldn't stay. So that so that the second place would play in El Azteca, and
they end up going to Monterrey, or
and then we're going to fucking Monterrey, yeah.
Mexico had
Wait, it's
Paraguay,
Germany.
Belgium, and Iraq in the '86 World Cup.
Iraq. That's the one I couldn't remember.
No.
We
Yeah.
beat Belgium 2-1. We tied with Paraguay 1-1, and then
That's where Hugo missed the PK.
and then we
It's like almost 80th minute.
we beat Iraq 1-0.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's something similar. I could see Mexico getting 2 wins, in a draw, or just going undefeated. But it's very important to win the group
Yeah.
and avoid some of these stronger teams. Wait, was Argentina put in the group of? Are they the team that's going to be in Miami for 2 games?
No,
No.
that's Spain. No, that's not. No, that's
there
they were saying,
goes-
but it's not going to be that.
Yeah. There goes those conspiracy theories.
In Atlanta, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
What? They
Argentina
couldn't make it
has
that obvious.
Argentina has Algeria, Austria, and Jordan, arguably the easiest group of the bunch, and they are the World Cup winners, right? So there should be some kind of residual reward for winning the World Cup. You have an easy group, and they really protected Argentina, so like they're not gonna really face any legitimate opponent until at least
But-
like a semifinal or final.
So you think it was rigged then?
Not rigged, but they
You're
definitely
saying that they protected them, but how are you going to protect them then?
because they're
can't think of
they're
any
the
other
World
way.
Cup winner, so they had like an easier draw than other countries.
And then
No,
Because there was-
they made it so that the top 2 in the rankings do not face each other to the final.
If-
So I mean,
If I'm not mistaken, Argentina, because I had to scratch it out. So when they were doing the draw, Spain was in Group H, and then Argentina was picked next, and they were supposed to be in Group I, but then they moved them to Group J because they said, "Oh, Argentina."
yeah, because of that.
They
Because
said
of-
Argentina
because of
and Spain
fucking
cannot.
caveat,
Yeah, so they protected Argentina
Alright.
in that way.
All right, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you
I
mean.
mean, yeah, of course they're gonna fucking protect their fucking money makers.
I am gonna lean on you guys, the older generation. You guys have probably. I mean, what was your guys' first World Cup? Because you guys have a lot
94 is mine.
yeah.
94.
So you guys have a lot of World Cups, that you've witnessed, and would you say this is probably one of the easier groups that Mexico has had in your lifetime?
But you know what? Everybody thought that 2006 was
For me, yeah.
easy, but they ended up having a scare at the end, the one with Angola and fucking Iran. So, like I said, you got to play the matches, but I don't know. This one, I like this one.
I think for me, 86, but I was little. I don't remember much, but that was the first that I watched. And then 90, Mexico wasn't there, so I remember seeing the Argentina Cameroon, but not being that into it. 94 was the one where I was all in by that point. But I do think it's been one of their best groups. I think they had probably an east. I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge. The group where they had Angola and
That 2006,
Iran.
everybody thought it was Papita, and they fucking ended up second place with fucking Bravo fucking missing a penalty.
Yeah, and that's where people forget about, like, with La Volpe, they were all crying to bring him back. And they because of that match with Argentina, obviously, that's what they remember the most. But
Yeah, but you know what? That Angola game,
Thank-
fucking Angola defended with 11 guys on the fucking goal line. You couldn't do shit.
But a lot of those dudes were similar, dude. Some of them their goalie didn't even have a club. Some of those dudes had like part-time jobs. And
You have a problem with the team. You got you have a fucking bulldozer or something, man.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that was the easiest one I've ever, because fucking I don't recall. I mean, in 2004 it was Brazil, Croatia, and fucking Cameroon. The one that really scared was Brazil there, because Croatia wasn't the Croatia we know right now, and Cameroon sucked. But
wait, Cameroon sucks? I don't know about that.
For me, this is the most accessible group that I can recall.
How far?
For me.
how far do
Right?
you
Like
go?
that's what I'm saying.
Ron, how far do you go?
What's that?
How far do you go in World Cups? Which one was
What's
the
that?
first one you remember?
He says, "How
Like-
old? How old are you?" Because
No, I don't want to say.
what's the
I remember watching some of the '86 World Cup games, but obviously, you know what? I was 8 years old, so I didn't really know much about the teams or the tactics, obviously, and stuff like that. But I do remember watching some of the games. Obviously heartbroken that they weren't around in '90, because at that time I didn't know. I'm a fan. I was hard. I was really because I remember the '86 time. For everybody came in the group of us. No, honestly, only two of them were really good. I mean, Italy. I knew about them. I didn't know Norway.
I'm having trouble hearing Ron. Is anybody else having
Ron,
trouble?
are you getting hacked?
Yeah, I'm having issues too.
Yeah, Ron was you sounded like a in and out.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think his internet's acting up.
Just at the airport, guy.
Oh, he's at the airport.
Yeah.
He's already flying in for his World Cup press pass.
Yeah.
He's getting his badge ready.
Yeah, he's getting
He
his.
said, my name is Ron.
He's getting his badge.
He's ready to go scout South Africa. The Melbourne.
Yeah, yo, I know, man.
But you know what? Going back, I remember my dad. He told me about the group in '78 that everybody was saying, "Yeah, okay, Germany," but then we tie against Poland and we beat Tunisia, and they ended up getting fucking embarrassed. But
Wait, what?
but still,
Wait, 78. Wait, we're talking 78. I don't think they won any games.
No, they went fucking 3-0. I think they lost all three.
Yeah, first, and then I think that was the first win for an African team.
Yeah, no, but but going in, everybody was saying, my dad told me, everybody was fucking saying, "Oh yeah, Germany, okay, Germany," but they fucking they thought they were gonna fucking breeze through.
Well, you know why? You know why? Because
they had Cuellar and they had Hugo, and
No, they hosted though. So before in CONCACAF, the way they would do the qualifiers, one country would host it. It would be like in a tournament. It wasn't like the hexagonal. So Mexico played other games at Azteca.
That's why Haiti fucking eliminated them in '74 because
and '82,
it was in Puerto Prince.
Yeah, and in '82, I think Honduras. It's in Honduras.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they win all these games at Azteca, and so they think that they were going all high and mighty. I saw an interview. I can't remember the player, and he was saying they didn't know anything about their rivals. They hadn't even scouted them. So I think that also like I guess they saw their rivals and thought, menospreciaron.
But you know what? Going back to 2002, I remember like a lot of it didn't feel like successful in this one, but it wasn't like people weren't losing sleep over Croatia and Ecuador. Even if Croatia had been to the prior semifinals, like I don't recall everybody saying "fuck, we're fucked" like a '94. And in '94 it was fucking everybody was in panic mode.
So I have a question, guys. Like, how many windows do we have left to schedule friendlies? I'm trying to find some information right now. The Sum Tour, it looks like Mexico has a scheduled friendly against Belgium.
I think it's March, April, and May.
March 31st in Chicago against Belgium. That should be a good one. I know that they also announced their match against Portugal, right? Like they confirmed. Yeah, that's gonna be the sort of like the debut of the renovated Estadio Azteca in March. So aside from that, like I don't know what other countries that they have friendly scheduled for. But now that we know our opponents, like I absolutely believe that we should schedule a match against an African nation just to kind of get us.
I think they had Ivory Coast. I believe
Ivory Coast would be a
the Ivory Coast
great
Cup.
fucking match for Mexico.
I think so. Let me double check.
And we kind of
because I've seen it. Ivory Coast versus Mexico in June 2nd.
and we absolutely nailed the Korea Japan friendlies, right? So like we've already kind of done our recon on them, and I don't know if there's any other like nation from Asia that we can like potentially schedule before the World Cup that could help us prepare. Uzbekistan, yeah.
Uzbekistan. I think there's a schedule.
They're not a flan.
I know that we got a match scheduled with Belgium and Portugal. I mean, those are some great tuna matches, depending on who we get. You know, if it's Ireland or if it's Denmark, right? But those are two completely different animals, right? I would love to schedule a friendly against like Scotland or another team in the UK, maybe even England, and then for like obviously we would want to get a team that's similar to Denmark, right? If it could be Norway, Finland, who else is up there?
I think Portugal will be a good litmus test in the sense that we don't usually get that sort of quality, but also they're coming from a two-legged loss against the Irish. And so if we face the Irish, it'll be interesting to see how like we overcome or fail to overcome a superior opponent on paper, right? Like how far did we get? How far did they get? They passed the litmus test. They what's it called? They beat Portugal, right? How far will we get? I know it's a different format. It'll be a friendly as opposed to World Cup qualifying. But if we take it serious, I think that could be a good indicator of where we are compared.
That Belgium game in fucking Chicago should be. It's a good fucking test.
The word I was looking for was Scandinavian. I think we should schedule a match against a Scandinavian country like Norway.
Against Sweden, who didn't make the World Cup.
Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland. Obviously, you can't compare it to like Denmark, but and then I'll be honest. I want Ireland to qualify in our group. I think that we have a very similar culture. Like we both love to drink, we both like to party, dance, and
we have a 94 win over them.
And dude,
both majority Catholic.
I would fucking love us to play against Ireland in the World Cup. That would be like poetic. I would love that.
Hey, Wario, Carlos Wario from TV Azteca, he just tweeted out that in January they're thinking of Panama, Bolivia, and then it's funny you yeah.
Well, those are not fecha FIFA, so it's gonna be with the Liga MX crew.
Yep, and then it's funny you mentioned Iceland because in February they're thinking of playing Iceland in Querétaro if possible. So they're thinking about it already.
We're not doing any favors scheduling a friendly against, you said Bolivia?
Yeah, Panama and Bolivia.
Mamadas. We need to get France in there. We need to get.
But they're not fecha FIFA. The first fecha FIFA.
I would even be down to schedule friendlies against clubs like we did against River and who was it? What was the other Argentine team that we played in that one window we had? It was
Rosario Central, no.
River Plate. Was it 2 games against River Plate?
No, it was another one. It was another.
It was Inter. It was Inter de Porto Alegre.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Inter. Yeah, it was Inter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because I think Tala started that game.
I love the fact that we are playing our opening game against South Africa. Payback's a bitch. And look, let me just go through this list and let me know at what position we have a better player than in that 2010 World Cup. Our starting goalkeeper, Oscar Perez. Obviously, we have better goalkeepers than Conejo Perez, but our defense was Masa Rodriguez, Carlos Salcido, Rafa Marquez, Ricardo Osorio. Then in the midfield, we had Gerardo Torrado, Pablo Barrera, Israel Castro, Guille Franco, Cuau, and Carlos Vela. That was our starting lineup.
Wasn't it Paulo Aguilar started, and I think Paulo Aguilar started as the right lateral because Juarez, because for that game I think Vasco used Juarez in la media cancha.
And then for the rest of the roster, you mentioned number 12, Paul Aguilar, obviously Ochoa, Chicharito, Hector Moreno, Efraín Juárez, Gio Dos Santos, Andrés Guardado, Johnny Magallón, Jorge Torres Nilo, Bofo Bautista, Venado Medina, and Luis Ernesto Michel. I'm looking
That wasn't a bad squad.
I'm looking at this squad, and in some ways we've done better, but in some ways we've definitely gone backwards. We don't have a natural 10 like WoW. I mean, the closest thing is like Gil, but he's like 17, bro. You cannot put the weight of the country on this kid's shoulders, but I know that he will probably be in our starting lineup next year.
Oh, then you don't have a firecracker off the bench like Pablito Barrera. Pablito Barrera was essentially the had the Cabrito Arellano role where off the bench he would fucking
Gio
light you up.
Or Gio, you don't have someone like a Gio.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, yeah.
For me, obviously, like we have some pretty like dynamic players, but my glaring concern is defense. We don't have a player like Rafa or Carlos Salcido, which you can argue like he was still kind of Carlos Salcido was just a fucking engine, bro. Like I miss that motherfucker. And you had Massa. Massa was okay. I think he just had that presence in the height. But I feel like our defense, man, like Edson Alvarez, Hector Moreno,
I gotta defend Massa. Yeah, I don't think he got his due. I know he would get a lot of flack.
Do you think Massa's a better defender than Cesar Montes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think, and if you rank of all-time defenders, he's up there. He's top
Massa
5.
got much better when he made the jump to
PSV?
the Netherlands. He fucking
Yeah.
When Mexico played Brazil in Brazil, he had one of the best passing of all the players.
I'll take Massa over Cesar Montes any day of the week.
And so he was very good. I just think he in Chivas there was a few games where he looked bad.
But Carlos Salcido, bro, he's like Carlos Salcido is a player we have not replaced.
Oh, yeah, he was a beast.
Well,
he was a beast.
The guy that appears on a lot of your top Mexico teams of all time. I mean, that guy.
Yeah.
And then you have
or he could go in la medio cancha.
You have El Kaiser, right? Rafa Marquez, your captain, right?
Yeah.
We lack players with leadership and backbone. I think Rafa was that guy. I will say though, he was kind of like a wild card because we've seen him blow up against US in 2002, and then the own goal. Was it?
Don't you remember a qualifying game against Trinidad and Tobago where you practically almost broke a guy?
Yeah, wild card Rafa Marquez, but now he's on the he's on the coaching side. He's on the other side. But I'm just looking at this squad, bro, and fuck nostalgia. I honestly think that we had a better squad in 2010 than we do now.
Well, delantero wise, I mean, you got Chicharito, Guille, and who else did they have?
Gio, which I don't think he's a striker, but he was. Carlos Vela.
Yeah, that's give me that over what they have today. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Even with fucking sorry ass Guilla.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where I think this 2010 team, eclipses our current squad. The only position where I'm like we might be better at is probably the goalkeeping position and maybe the midfield.
Well, that was because fucking Bosco wanted to fucking put in fucking Perez, but he had fucking Ochoa in his fucking prime on the bench. And Michel too.
Michel going into that because we had like a 60-day fucking training camp, which I thought was a little too excessive.
Yeah, well, La Volpe did that too. Like he took the guys from since fucking they didn't play Liguilla because he had them from fucking since the beginning of May.
It was such bullshit that we did such a excessive training camp. Like there is, you talk about it in boxing, Albert, there is a chance that you overtrain for a fight.
Oh, yeah.
And,
No, and I remember Chivas got fucked over in 2006. Remember they were
Yeah.
fucking poised to win the title, but then they took half of the team to the World Cup training camp.
Yep.
So in the liguilla they fucking.
it was back-to-back years, right?
got-
Because Confed Cup, right? We got all our players pulled, and then we were in Copa
It was-
Libertadores. We were in semis, and then
Well, that's why in Libertadores in 2005 they had to play with Corona because fucking
Yeah.
Osvaldo was with the selección.
exactly, yeah. You know, I still have questions about who will be our starting goalkeeper in the World Cup next year, and I think everything says that it's going to be Malagon because of the influence that America and Televisa have. In my opinion, right now, I would take Talavera over Malagon as our starting goalkeeper. Do you guys think realistically that Ochoa will make the roster?
Oh yeah, Ochoa's making the rock 100. I'll fucking put it right here in the 5th of December. I'm putting it. There's no. He's not fucking taking Acevedo. It's gonna be fucking Ochoa.
Wow.
And if you look at it, Mexico. I mean, since I've been watching it since '94, Mexico hasn't even needed the second fucking goalie.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's taking them. You know, and they're gonna say because of the leadership he provides, which is true. I mean, if you look at that the bronze medal run in 2001, he was a fucking patron. He commanded the respect of the team, and I could see that. I could see why Vasco would fucking
Look,
take him.
I love the idea of Ochoa making history, you know, going to his 6th World Cup and just being that guy like on the bench or on that team that kind of just, you know, gives advice to the starting goalkeeper. Cause I don't think Ochoa will be a starter in the World Cup, but I do think that like his presence there will help out the goalkeepers like Malagon and Talavera. I think like they're inexperienced. You have a guy who's like the older guy that can kind of guide
Been
them.
there, done that, yeah.
Exactly. Right. Like,
And like I said, look at what happened last month. Ochoa was fucking filming commercials and El Car. Well, fucking Acevedo was fucking on the bench on his fucking home turf. That fucking tells you everything you fucking need to know.
that's true. Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the most exciting player that is going to come out of Mexico obviously is Gil Mora. I think
Which he got named on the Athletics 100 players to watch in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little out there, but fuck it.
Yeah, I think Gil Mora, it's poised for him to have sort of a showcase and to really show the rest of the world, like, you know, he's that dude for the next national team and, you know, a gem that everyone should keep their eye out on. Yeah, I think that's the only like kind of silver lining for this Mexican national team because the rest of it is very uninspiring. I just don't. I see the same players being, you know, keep getting called up. Obviously, Charlie Rodriguez scored a golazo against Chivas in the Liguilla, so I would not be surprised if he gets called back up for the national team. But
should Mexico had another player in that 100 on that 100 player list?
Who?
Mexico, because like I told you, the Athletic they released
Or did
list of the 100 players to watch, and only Mora made the cut.
Oh.
Do you think there should have been another guy?
I'm gonna defer that question to Rifalo if he's still on because I feel like he would probably know better than I do.
No, I think you're just as informed as I, and it should be Hormiga, the Liga MX top scorer. Maybe should have gotten a nod. Am I right? He's tied with Paulinho and the best of the best that Mexico has to offer. So
I mean,
someone
they
else should
shoulda-
be touted. Should be him.
I mean, for me, it wasn't really of the young players. It was just like I think 100 like top players.
Oh, I see.
So I mean, I think they should fucking at least put Edson in there.
No. Edson's not a top player. I know he's got, you know, he plays now he plays in Turkey, but he was in the Premier. I don't think Edson is that dude, honestly. Yeah, I think as far as like talent to watch out for, it's definitely Gil Mora.
Okay, here's the ranking the 100 best players at the World Cup. So Mbappé is number 1, and
where's
who's
Lamine
number
Yamal?
2? Haaland is 2, Jabal is 3, Harry Kane is 4, and Pedri is number 5. And let me see where they put Mora.
Let me see if I can.
Mora barely made the list. He came in at 97.
Oh shit.
I have a question for the OGs, for Albert and Joel, because you guys have probably watched more World Cups than at least I have. But where do you rank the sentiment from Mexican fans and your own sentiment going into this World Cup? Do you feel nervous, or do you feel like this is like the worst squad that has gone, or what do you your honest take?
Actually, look, in '94, even though Mexico had done good in the Copa America, the sentiment was bad just because of the group of them. Like, nos van a coger los noruegos y los italianos. In '98, sentiment was bad because of the fucking La Puente took over in December, and he just had he even got shitted on by Boca Juniors. So that was bad. In 2002, it was Italy's in the group, but okay. 2006, it was fucking, everybody was thinking fucking semifinals. It was fucking high. 2010, it wasn't the best, but it was okay. 2014, after the fucking whole debacle in the eliminatorias, there was fucking hope, because it's just you know what? Because fucking Herrera was that type of fucking coach. He fucking he breeded fucking enthusiasm in you. Like, he was a firecracker. 2018, there was well, obviously you guys from there you guys know what happened, but I mean, as far as the most pessimistic had to be 94 and 98.
I'm looking at this list. I had to use the remove.
It's my turn behind me. I haven't answered Tommy's.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Sentiment wise, I said for me or just the Mex fans. The Mex fans would just go with whatever the media tells them.
98.
So it's very wishy-washy. For me, where I felt grim was the 2018, just because I go off of like the group and who do you face in what order. So opening against Argentina, that was always going to be I knew if Mexico lost, their odds of getting out of the group stage would diminish.
What about 98? The leader was horrible.
Yeah, but I was younger.
You had Belgium.
No, yeah, but I'm just going off of me, like personal.
Okay.
Y también, pero mi pregunta es más acerca de like this one, going into this one. Like I want to hear like compared like to when, like, I don't know, like everyone is hopeful going into, but like your realistic take going into this one. Do you think we're dog shit? Because I think we are.
No.
For me, the team has been playing like shit, but after what happened in the last hour, at least in the group stage, any tension just eased. Like I told you, if fucking Norway would have been in that group, shit would have been different. But you know what? It's as far as me, there's no tension.
Yeah, well, for me, it's different as to what constitutes the team playing bad, or the team being dog shit. So I like to point to the Ojitos Mesa era. To me, that's what was happening to that team, where they were losing by 3-4 goals, where it looked like they couldn't put together 3 passes. That to me was bad. This team, they've won when they've played the tournaments they had to play. They won them. And then I know their last, 5 games they haven't been able to win. But to me, they haven't looked bad. They just haven't been able to score. And that's been a problem pretty much going back. Maybe
you mean that they haven't beaten a top level?
No, it's not. Now you said it yourself with La Puente when he took over the team, and it looked really bad. Supposedly he was coming in to fix the team, and it looked like it went worse. And then when they
in January of that year, it's weird. They had played already knowing they were going to play them in the World Cup. They played the Netherlands in Orlando, and they got smacked. So
Yeah, and that's part of it, you know, like for the coaches, like, okay, do I want the team to look good or do I want to try out certain scenarios or I'm gonna try out certain players or certain tactics, and that's where you can't do both, you know. You can't entertain the fans or work at the thing at the same time. You have to pick one, and to me, they've been doing what they should be doing. The coaches is trying out different tactics or players that are in different positions. And then a lot of times they don't make sense and they say, why are they doing this? And I don't think they're going to tell us, at least not leading into the World Cup. They're not going to say, these are my concerns. You know, they never talk about that because obviously you're kind of letting your rivals know what your deficiencies are.
Yeah. You know, like when I talked to Osorio prior to the last World Cup, that's what he said. He said that going into 2018, like one of the things he focused was not showing all his cards to his rivals. That's why he said they were able to. That's what one of the reasons he said they were able to beat Germany because he gave him looks that he hadn't shown during his lead up.
Yeah, and that's something La Puente would do too. You know, and he like you said, they lose against Holland, but he ends up tying them in a really good match. And that Holland team was like World Cup. Yeah, they were World Cup candidates. They weren't. Talent wise, it was insane, huh? So to get that draw like that it's one of the best results Mexico's gotten. So no, I'm not worried. Just the goal scoring because there really isn't like a prolific scorer right now, aside from Hormiga.
Yeah.
And it's like his first title, but you know, Santi's not scoring. You don't just have players that are scoring day in, day out, and we could say, you know, like at one point you had Hermoso Peralta, you know, and that was comforting, you know, but they don't really seem to be, just a couple of rookies there that, you know, which it's at home, but who knows, by still a few months, who knows if maybe Santi will get his mojo back. I think Quiñones is the only one scoring, but no one's paying attention to it. I don't think anybody sees the games over there. So, but he don't even figure in the national team. So that's been the whole question mark for me, is like, how's the attack gonna be, and who's
gonna step up?
Only one player. Yes, yeah. Who's gonna step up? That's been my main concern.
Yeah.
However, I think the team is strong enough to get out of the group stage and make a push, a pretty good push to, you know, get as far as they haven't, you know. What am I going to say? You know, get as far as possible for them. You know, get past that quinto partido.
For sure.
It should be the sexto now. Get to the sexto partido.
Yeah, fifth game just gets us back to where we've always been, which is the round of 16. So we have to sort of change our goal and mindset. You know, I think the Mexican player right now is probably having a huge sigh of relief because the way this draw could have been, it could have been a lot worse for Mexico.
Oh.
And we have to be optimistic. And
imagine Mexico gets Colombia or Norway.
Exactly. So, you know, we have 6 months to prepare. We know our opponents. We know two out of the three opponents now. So, you know, it's right now it's Aguirre's job to prepare us for these matches and to start thinking of who his starting 11 is going to be for South Africa. And they're a team that he's coached against before, so he should have, you know, some idea of their tendencies and what to look out for. You know, I remember that match and being nervous and seeing them score the opening goal, and that pissed me off.
Salah scored, and he did that little fucking dash routine.
It pissed me off because any fucking goalkeeper that didn't have T-Rex arms like Conejo could have probably saved that. Yeah. But he went with, you know, the devil that he knows, and that was Conejo Perez. I'm just waiting for Aguirre to do his signature, like, you know, lineup where he calls a player that shouldn't be starting that game, like he did it against Argentina. He called up Bofo. That's the only thing I'm really like worried about, honestly.
But you know what? Carrillo talked about Bofo, and he said that fucking Bofo was having fucking. Well, he was good with Chivas, and that he was having good fucking.
He was an archie killer.
And and Matargentino, and he was good, and he was having good training. Carrillo has spoken it on fucking Picante, but he just
his run up to the World Cup was really good. He had goals and assists, and against top teams, so he looked good. I think he just gets flack because he didn't play none of the group stage games, and then they threw him in the biggest game, and there was one play where he could have scored, and they just didn't pass it to him. And I think he would have, right there, Carrillo's prediction would have come true. But then there was this like a meme. I think it was Zancadilla did. He did the heat map, and he put like that he didn't run or anything. And people just ran with that.
But
he never lived it down.
This is what Bofo said. He said that it was a fucking promoter that had it against him, and that he would fucking give the fucking Prensa de Monterrey fucking money to fucking say that.
To talk shit about him? Yeah, and that does happen. That does happen when all of a sudden, why is the media focusing on one player? Why are they attacking him so much?
As Vasco, in his history of questionable call-ups, going back to 2002, fucking Jirafa de Anda's having good tournaments, but he takes his buddy from Pachuca Vidrio. And then he takes fucking, because Cabrito wasn't going to be available for the first game, he takes fucking Caballero, which was a fucking waste of a call-up. In 2010, who doesn't really leave out? I can't recall him leaving out. Maybe Benitez. Benitez was having Braulio Luna was having a resurgence, and he got left out. And questionable call-ups. Obviously, you guys talked about Bofo, which in hindsight it wasn't that questionable. But fucking Guille Franco, Guille had no fucking business, business being on that fucking squad. But he fucking took him.
We have
that's pretty neat.
And if Sabat doesn't get injured, Chicharito doesn't even fucking go.
Hey, speaking of Chicharito, we have another comment saying Aguirre to call up Chicharito to take more penalties.
Why not?
Yeah. Shout out to my neighbor.
He's gonna make one.
He also mentioned he did not expect Mbappe to play against Haaland, but here we are. I think it's a great matchup. Norway.
Oh,
yeah, honestly, dude, like I think more attention needs to be drawn on Group I with France, Senegal, Norway, and then obviously there's another team in the playoff that we have yet.
Bolivia or Iraq.
Yeah, dude. So I think France, Senegal, it'll be nice for them to, have that rematch they had in 2002, and then Norway is kind of like the dark horse. You can't call them a dark horse because everybody knows about them, but I feel like Norway could be like the wild card in this World Cup, right?
It's a bunch of 6'2". The team, everybody's like 6'2" or some shit.
They're all Neanderthals over there in Scandinavia, but Haaland, you can't underestimate him. He's a force to be reckoned with. You sent over that list from The Athletic earlier. I mean, he's number 2 on that fucking list, which is ridiculous because, it's like, I understand, like, he's great for his club, but for the national team, like, how much can he do to carry this team to even past the group stage, honestly, at this point?
Well, I think he has a better supporting cast than when Salah made the World Cup. And everybody was all hyped, and they crashed out. I mean, I think he has a better supporting crew than.
I want to know who wrote this article on The Athletic, because Mbappe is number 1, and then you have Haaland number 2,
Nick Miller and Tim Spears.
Lamine Yamal's number 3. Top 100 players to look out for in the World Cup. Harry Kane number 4. Harry Kane, really? Like, England is the most inflated nation in this World Cup, and they always are.
Number 7. Fuck Vinicius. Vinicius is not. I think he's
Pedri's number 5. Bellingham's number 6. Vinny is number 7.
Messi number 8.
Messi number 8.
Not even a proven starter.
Kevin De Bruyne is number 9, and then to finish off the top 10 is Gianluigi Donnarumma from Italy, which, by the way, Italy has not qualified for the World Cup yet. Like,
No.
that's not confirmed yet. So
No.
he
And then Messi hasn't even been a starter lately. He hasn't.
yeah. But you look at the group J with Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Like, that is, oh my God. If you're Messi, bro, you're like, how many fucking goals can I score in this group stage? Can I surpass Cristiano Ronaldo? Can I just piss off like any other goal scorer? You know, I know Miroslav Klose owns the record for most goals in a World Cup, but I mean, this group for Argentina, Messi could probably score a hat trick a game. Honestly, it's that embarrassing.
Ronaldo cracked the top 25. He's number 25.
Yeah, Ronaldo's old, and Portugal have a tough group with Colombia. Uzbekistan is probably accessible, and then they have a team in the group in the playoffs. So we still have to wait for that.
You know what? Uzbekistan is like everybody because I guess it's like my friend told me. Oh, it's just a name. But if you look at their qualifying process, and didn't they tie with Mexico 3-3 like last year?
All I know is Uzbekistan has been a problem for Mexico in the friendlies that we've had against them.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but it's not a team like let's say you get fucking New Zealand where you could probably fucking put 5 in them.
You know, you talk about England, you talk about the group of death, you talk about Croatia. Modric is 40 years old, dog. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand Croatia has had some respect on the world stage. They got, third place in 98 and then runners up in 2018, right? They're a force to be reckoned with, but I just feel like they're old now.
You know what?
They're old.
Technology and the way the game has advanced, like practically 40 is the new 30. Like I remember seeing fucking Franco Baresi Franco Baresi was 34 when I saw him in the 94 World Cup, and he looked fucking old as fuck. And he was barely 34.
But he was a defender.
Yeah, and he was old as fuck. Well, he's a defender. Yeah, you're right. But still, I mean,
but he got injured. He got injured and he came back and played the final.
Ronaldo doesn't do coke like Maradona. At least we don't know he does.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at this list and it's like, all right, bro. Clearly you guys play FIFA, but this ain't FIFA. This is the World Cup, and you guys are just going off of player rankings on.
Hey, go back to that 94. Okay, you said Baresi, but fucking Roger Milla was fucking 41 and scored a goal.
No, I did, but I mean, as a defender, and they made it all the way to the final, but just to get injured and then play the final was insane. And this dude had such big nuts. He still went up to take a PK, which he missed. Which he missed. But then who could blame him? Like this dude was he's just pure heart, man.
Hey, but
because it just wasn't the PK. It was the extra times and just playing on one leg.
Yeah. But then it's a lot of people. I've read it. A lot of people, they're not calling him dark horse because they have talent, but they wouldn't be surprised if they make it all the way to the semis because they have a good team.
Who?
Portugal.
Nah.
Oh yeah, they could. They could.
It's not.
Wait, didn't they beat Spain?
They don't look sexy like France, but they have a good team.
Wait, didn't they just win? the?
They won the Nations League.
Yeah, they won. I remember. I saw them winning something. I mean,
Nations League. They won it.
I would put them as a dark horse.
Who do you think is the most overrated country going into the World Cup? For me, it's an easy pick. It's going to be England.
You think so?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that they could go on a deep run because they can, but I think like England is obviously like inflated. Harry Kane and the Bellinghams of the world. I think like the expectation is like, it's coming home, right? They keep saying about it's coming home.
It's never coming home.
But I feel like the elements, the weather will definitely be a factor for the English national side. I'm not saying that again that they can go on a deep run, but I think that they're definitely inflated. And there's still a lot of question marks about Germany. I'm sure they got a chip on their shoulder, right? Like not getting out of the group stage in 2018 and 2022. Like there's definitely a lot of expectations for Germany, who's
And like you said, Brazil earlier, like you said, who knows how the Ancelotti situation is going to work out?
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of question marks over some of these historically dominant nations. And honestly, I think this is, this expansion to 48 teams, like, is going to, there's going to be a lot of upsets. I'm calling it out. There's going to be a lot of upsets. I think there's going to be a lot of nations that we underestimated that are going to be a thorn on some sides in the group stage and could fuck up some group seeding in the next round.
Some betting sites are going to go bankrupt.
Dude, I think don't underestimate the CONCACAF teams that qualified for this World Cup. Like,
well, Haiti, they don't have their team's not like I was saying. Costa Rica is talking shit about Haiti. Costa Rica's had a fucking better team than Haiti. No, Haiti has a better team than Costa Rica. They have guys in Europe, and these guys fucking play to the death, man.
Hey, and Piojo is not a great coach, so I'm not surprised that Costa Rica fucking.
But the fucking look at their Costa Rican team. They had fucking 3 guys in fucking the 2nd division of Portugal when they used to fucking have guys like Brian Rees, fucking Campbell, Wanchope. It's like it was a total fucking dip in fucking talent.
Yeah, Keylor Navas went from defending Real Madrid to defending Pumas. No disrespect.
Yeah. So I mean, Haiti and obviously fucking Curacao. They have guys in the Netherlands. So I mean, it's one of those guys. I think one of those guys could very well be in the fucking round of 32.
Yeah.
Or the round of 30. Yeah.
We shall see. We've been on it for almost 2 hours, so I want to thank everyone for hopping on tonight. We also obviously have an active Liga MX semifinal. I'm sorry we didn't get to cover those matches, but they were kind of a snooze fest. We had Cruz Azul and Tigres tie 1-1, and Monterrey got just enough over Toluca in that first leg. Obviously, the return legs will all be tomorrow, starting with Toluca Monterrey at 5 p.m., and Tigres Cruz Azul following right after. So we'll be here to get the aftermath of those matches and figure out who will be in contention for this next Liga MX title. And obviously, we're going to have some more reactions from the World Cup draw as we get closer and closer to that date. But thank everyone for joining us tonight. Well, actually, it's 1 in the afternoon. I don't know why I'm saying tonight, but thank you all for joining us in this impromptu podcast. And of course, we will catch you all on the next one. Ciao.